one of the best sports towns in all the world, Chicago. And the love affair is back with their Bulls tonight. The Suns are here at the United Center to face Derrick Rose and the #1 team in the East. It's the Bulls and the Suns here on My 45. Hi everyone, Tom Leander along with the man who put the J in jump shot, E.J. Eddie Johnson, Mr. Chicago, back here in the Windy City. I know that puts a smile on your face.
No doubt about it, but I'd like for the Suns to be the first and second seed going against the Bulls right now, who are the top seed in the Eastern Conference.
Well, we have a tale of two MVPs quite possibly here tonight. Of course, you have Steve Nash, who won a pair with the Phoenix Suns. He's back with the team after missing the game in San Antonio. He'll be in the starting lineup. And Derrick Rose, and he's swelling support right now for Derrick Rose as the MVP this season in the NBA.
I think it's his, just based on how people are talking about it, and he deserves it. I mean, they have the best record in the Eastern Conference. They're fighting for the best record in the NBA, and it's all been on the back of Derrick Rose. He has been unbelievable. He has been a big-time performer in clutch situations, and that's what MVPs do. And he has done it consistently all year long, and what a joy to watch play.
And the player who has won MVP the last two seasons, LeBron James, he has cast his ballot in favor of Derrick Rose winning it this season, along with another former Chicago great, Michael Jordan, who believes Derrick Rose is this season's MVP. We'll take our first time out here from the United Center. When we come back, we're talking about that guy who is still rolling, Jared Dudley. Back set with the Bulls and then the Wolves. Tom Leander back with E.J. Eddie Johnson. Let's talk about Jared Dudley, because he has been anything but a dud as a starting guard for the Suns. He's been so solid both on the offensive and defensive end for Phoenix.
You know, he really has. And the great thing about Jared Dudley is he has improved right before us. And that means in terms of being a productive player regardless if he has the ball or not. You know, he'll go stretches where he doesn't get shots, but guess what? He'll get rebounds, he'll get steals. And then when his opportunity comes to get the basketball, he not only knocks down the three-point shot, but he has the mid-range game as well. And lately, taking the ball to the rim, Jared Dudley evolving as a big-time starter in the league.
Suns signing Jared Dudley to a sweet deal before the start of the season. Vince Carter will continue to come off the bench for the Phoenix Suns as he quite likely plays the final 6 games as a member of the Suns. Well, it's our one and only trip here to Chicago and a chance to see up close and in person the dynamic Derrick Rose. Suns and Bulls coming your way next here on My 45. Here we go. By Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Goldberg and Osborne, the accident injury lawyers. By Diamondback Plumbing, 2 decades of complete plumbing service and repair. Casino Arizona, feel the win. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Chicago once again buzzing about their Bulls. Not since MJ left have Chicagoans been this excited about their NBA team. Tonight's starting lineups are presented by MidFirst Bank. MidFirst Bank is proud to be the official bank of the Phoenix Suns. Stop by MidFirst Bank today to get your Phoenix Suns check card. Jared Dudley, by the way, is the only Suns player who has not missed a game this year. In fact, he is now playing in his 179th consecutive game overall. Channing Frye finishing out his best season as a pro, along with Marcin Gortat. Head coach Alvin Gentry did not see enough effort or competitive fire on Sunday in San Antonio, and that's his challenge right now. And for the rest of the season, keep his guys engaged and busting their tails till the end. And now the starters for the Bulls. With Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah in the lineup, the Bulls this season are 18-5, but that's only 23 games because of injuries to both players. Tonight, just the 24th time this season they have been healthy and on the floor together. Luol Deng quietly having a fantastic season for Chicago. Their head coach is Tom Thibodeau. First year with the Bulls, first season as an NBA head coach, and has a great shot to win NBA Coach of the Year. Turning this team around with his demanding defensive philosophy and winning more games than any other first-year Bulls coach, and that includes Phil Jackson. Here's tonight's APS Power matchup. EJ taking a look at Grant Hill with the defensive assignment on Derrick Rose.
Well, Grant Hill has had to take the responsibility of guarding the other team's best player. A guard or a power forward or a small forward or 2 guard Grant Hill showing his ability to just defend, and he has his work cut out for him tonight, no doubt about it. I mean, Derrick Rose reminds me a lot of Kevin Johnson, a guy that you think you can stop him from getting to the rim, and he finds a way to get there, and when he gets there, it's explosive. And so Grant Hill's really going to need a lot of help from his teammates tonight, Tom, in cutting off those lanes to Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Kevin Johnson with even more elevation and suspension when you talk about
the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics, they're paying attention to this game because they're in a fight right now with the Chicago Bulls. And then, look, build a wall. Who is the wall for? Derrick Rose. Build a big wall and make that wall strong because he'll find a way to jump over it if you don't. I mean, they have to be alert. Not only about guarding your man tonight, you have to guard your man and half of Grant Hill's man, and that's Derrick Rose.
Well, you mentioned the Bulls right now, #1 in the East. They're 2.5 ahead of the Miami Heat, 3 up on the Boston Celtics, and they will host the Celtics here at the United Center on Thursday. Phoenix Suns broadcasts are made available in high definition by Verizon. Rule the air. Check your cable or satellite listings for HD channels. How about coming out of that huddle, Steve Nash adding spirit to this Suns team before the opening tip?
Well, Steve had to do a short change. He had the wrong shorts on.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's okay. That's
so
good, that's a good
omen. That's what was happening. Why? So they've already formed the wall, but the initial wall was for Steve Nash.
My biggest fear was putting on my warm-up and running out and tearing my warm-up off and forgetting that my uniform was on. At least he has some shorts on.
Well, Tim Kempton has just relayed to us that he'd forgotten to put his shorts on, so he borrowed somebody else's.
Wow.
We better figure that out. So that's what was happening behind that blockade of Suns players. Our first scoop of the night.
That's amazing.
That is.
This thing, if he had torn those warm-ups off as he walked into the scorer's table.
A little out of sorts after missing the game in San Antonio against the Spurs because of an illness. Channing Frye a little deep. Gortat grabs the offensive rebound away from one of the best rebounders in the NBA, Joakim Noah.
That just goes to show you how good Gortat is.
Nash flips it over to Gortat, puts it in with the left hand. Nash could have taken that in himself. Instead, the assist to Marcin.
You don't get many rebounds over the top of Noah.
Tonight's officials, Danny Crawford, Rodney Mott, and Olandis Poole from the United Center. Baseline Jay, netting it is Luol Deng, averaging 17.5 points per game.
And Tom, that's what he does. He's not a guy that's going to create, to locate him on the weak side. He finds creases to get that jump shot off, and he is lethal.
Well, you take a look at that stat right there, too. The Suns going back-to-back games against the top 2 teams in the NBA as Jared Dudley tees up a 3. It was San Antonio on Sunday, #1 team in the West, and now the Chicago Bulls, top team in the East. And the top 2 records at home in the NBA. There's that fadeaway, a patented shot from Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, he gets it over the top of guys. I mean, it's just uncanny with him.
Gortat couldn't control the pass. The Bulls come in 33-5 here at home, second only in the NBA to the Spurs, who are 34-5. Boozer hoists up an air ball thanks to the defense of Channing Frye, and the Suns will have possession.
Channing didn't give up any position there, forced him to fall away.
And we have seen tremendous improvement in the defense of Channing Frye, especially on the low block. Boozer nearly came away with a steal. Great look for Channing Frye, straight and sweep for 3.
The Bulls are a team that loves to build their defense where you cannot get to the rim. Well, they're facing a different animal here. They're backing off of the Suns shooters, and it's going to be a tough night if they continue to do that.
Pair of 3-pointers already for the Suns. One from Dudley, one from Channing Frye. There's the improved outside shot from Derrick Rose. He worked tirelessly on that during the offseason in the summertime in California when he came back from playing with Team USA in Turkey.
And he has an abundance of confidence, and that helps as well.
Jumps out at Steve Nash to force the miss. An improved defender as well, buying into the system with Tom Thibodeau. Thibodeau, of course, came over after being the defensive architect in Boston with the Celtics. Thibodeau wanted a goaltend call on Channing Frye. And up ahead comes Jared Dudley. Hit the brakes, but then threw it right to Joakim Noah. Here's the speed and the elevation of Derrick Rose. Draws the contact and earns a ticket to the line.
Yeah, and that's where he's so dangerous. I mean, because I don't care if it's 1-on-3. He can get to the spot before you as a defender. And that's what Derrick Rose is all about, and that's why he's so difficult to deal with in open court. Here, Noah, I mean, I don't know why he thought that was goaltending. I mean, that ball was probably
going to come up a couple feet short.
It wouldn't have even hit the net.
So 2 at the line for Derrick Rose. The Suns on this road trip, by the way, without Michael Petras, who is still back in Phoenix, rehabbing the quad injury. And Rose knocks down the first free throw. 85% from the line this season for Derrick Rose. He went 13 of 14 in their last game against Toronto, part of his 36-point outing, as the Bulls won that game 113-106, and chance of MVP ringing out here at the United Center. We are tied up at 8.
The only blip on him right now is that field goal percentage of 44%. But he's still going to win that MVP just based on what this team has done. But LeBron James can make a serious argument. His numbers are the same, and he's shooting over 50.
Hogan's being defended by Steve Nash as Grant Hill has Derrick Rose just off the front of the iron. And Nash now way up ahead to Grant Hill. Snapped away. Defensive prowess of Bogans, and it goes off of Grant Hill, apparently. He was trying to save it over to Jared Dudley. But that is why Bogans is on the floor. He's not a scorer, but he is a defensive menace.
Yeah, he's like a fire plug. You know, he's anchored to the floor and very strong. You're not going to move him much.
Bogans and Luol Deng, the only 2 Bulls to start every game this season. Derrick Rose missed 1 game because of a neck injury. Tied up at 8. Suns 2 of 3 3-point shooting. Bulls start out 3 of 7 from the floor. Deng, who was originally drafted by the Suns, then dealt to Chicago. The pass intended for Noah. It was tipped away. Here comes Nash leading the charge. Deep for 3. Comes up short. And there's Joakim Noah. Averages 11 rips per game. Rose zips it ahead. Now the Bulls working around to Luol Deng. Deng working on Jared Dudley. And draws the foul.
You know, they know how to get to angles well. Obviously, they worked on it in practice. They don't try to go at the body where a player can pick up an offensive foul. They've learned to just go at an angle and understanding where they are on the floor and getting the ball up off the glass in the square. That's the advantage of what Rose and Deng they do consistently when they're on the floor.
And Luol Deng, still just 25 years of age, 7th year coming out of Duke, knocks down the first free throw. Mentioned drafted 7th overall by the Suns and dealt to the Bulls because the Suns needed cap space that summer to sign Steve Nash and Quentin Richardson.
Yeah, well, you know, and he's evolved, and everybody knew he would. I mean, he was definitely highly sought after coming out of Duke. And he's become a tremendous small forward, especially when he's healthy. He's had some injury problems, no doubt about it.
No question about it. Finally healthy for Luol Deng, who has started all 77 games. 6-0 run. 10-8 lead. Jared Dudley takes aim. That shot has been so solid and consistent for Jared Dudley all season long.
That's what we talked about in the open. You know, that's why he's a bona fide starter. He knows how to score that ball in any given situation.
Boozer drives in on Gortat. Good defense from Marcin, who clears it up ahead to Nash. Another long lead pass to Grant Hill at the top shelf. Dazzling play between the 2 veterans.
But the pass is great in that he knew he couldn't throw it over the rim. Grant's not going to sell that high. He just threw it high enough for Grant to be able to catch it and lay it in over Derrick Rose. You know, you take a look at it. Look, I mean, you know, most guys, like that's Hakeem Warwick, he throws it over the rim. There, he just throws it right below the rim to give him a chance to catch the basketball.
So you're telling me if it was above the rim, it'd be a little too high for Grant. He could still flush it
right
down.
now. No, right now. No.
He's still warming up early in the game.
He needs to catch it on the way up, okay? Hakeem Warwick and Josh Childress, they'll catch it on the way down.
Well, stop and play. There's some blood on the right hand of Carlos Boozer. And remember, this is a guy who's missed 23 games this season, had the fractured right hand in a freak fall before the start of the season after he signed a mega free agent contract with the Chicago Bulls team. two-time All-Star and a big part of this turnaround, especially when healthy. He is definitely going to make them a contender for the title in the upcoming playoffs. But you look at the Bulls and the turnaround, led by the board work and their defense. #1 in opponent field goal percentage, #1 in opponent three-point percentage, tops in rebound margin, and #2 in points allowed, just over 91 points per game, second only to the Boston Celtics. And that's all because of that man, Tom Thibodeau. And the fact is, players again have bought into it, like Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose, improving their defense and their commitment at that end of the basketball. And the rebound by Gortat. Here comes Grant Hill, pull-up 15-footer in the face of Luol Deng. Second hit for Grant Hill here in the first quarter. Now the Suns off on a 6-0 surge.
You know, they only scored 98 a game, so they're not going to score a lot of points. They're going to do it on the defensive end, but right now, Suns getting anything that they want on that end.
Totally different Suns team than what we saw against the San Antonio Spurs. Though they did have a decent start, and they give up the jam to Joakim Noah.
The key for the Suns, as it always is not allow the Bulls to go on a huge run. I mean, if they can do that, they're going to get some good looks here. They've shown it early.
Bulls have been so good ever since the All-Star break, too. 18-4 as they make their push to win that top seed in the East. Right now, they would take on the Indiana Pacers in the first round of the playoffs. Deng drives past Nash, and then reaching in Grant Hill, pokes it free. Still 17 seconds on the shot clock for Chicago. They come in averaging 99 points. Again, giving up just over 91 per game. 56 wins. They are shooting for their 6th 60-win season in franchise history. Rose cut off by Grant Hill, goes up to the shot. One-handed push shot and the foul on Grant. Well, Grant complaining to Danny Crawford. Felt that was a clean coverage.
Well, you know, when you're guarding a guy that's already the MVP, and, you know, sometimes you just breathe on him, you get a foul call.
Alvin Gentry was saying before the game, too, he would expect Grant Hill at some point, especially here in the last week or two of the season, that, you know, when they have the team meeting and Alvin tells Grant Hill, well, tonight you have Derrick Rose. He says, you know, Grant has every right to tell me to take a hike.
But he's not, and he knows it. I mean, because he likes to challenge, and he knows those challenges aren't going to come, you know, all the time now. He's getting older. You know, he can see the end of the road for him as an NBA player, so he's going to grasp the challenge every night, and that's what he's done.
Rose a perfect 4 of 4 at the line. Fox Sports Arizona brings you the games that matter most and is proud to be the local television home of the Phoenix Suns. For even more information about the Suns, log on to foxsportsarizona.com. Gortat face up on Boozer. A little 14-footer offline. And here comes Derrick Rose, the only player in the NBA right now averaging top 10 in scoring and assists. Last 3 games averaging 30 against the Suns. Boozer puts that shoulder right into the meat of Marcin Gortat, and now the Bulls have scored 6 unanswered. That's a third 6-0 run here in the first quarter, 2 from Chicago. See what a great job Boozer does on the boards. He averages 9 boards to go along with his 18 points per game.
Yeah, he's going to get the glass, no doubt about it.
And this is so effective in his years with the Utah Jazz. Derrick Rose fires up a 3, in and out. Coming into this season, his first 2 years, Derrick Rose only had 32 three-point hits. This season, 120, as he has extended that range. Dudley. Boy, all sorts of contact and reaching in. Bogans gets away with it. The Suns will have possession. 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter from Chicago. Game 2 of a 5-game trip for the Suns and their final road trip of the season. Sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Give the gift of a destination with the Southwest gift card. Back here with EJ Eddie Johnson and Derrick Rose, now a 3-point threat in his 3rd season in the NBA, and you can't go under screens anymore with this guy.
No, and he knew. I mean, he knew his advantage most nights was getting to the rim. Teams started backing off of him, giving him the shot. Well, he worked on his shot, and now teams can't do it. It opens up that ability now for him to force a guy out on him, and then he can get to the rim again. He's become multifaceted, and that's why the Bulls are sitting where they are.
That's why Suns head coach Alvin Gentry says he's already cast his ballot for MVP and giving it to Derrick Rose this season. Good inbounds play for the Suns, and Gortat, frustrated with himself, felt he should have hit that shot. Little jump hook in the lane. Boozer now works it over to Derrick Rose. He also has MVP support from Dwight Howard, LeBron James. Another jam for Joakim Noah.
That's good passing there, interior passing from Carlos Boozer. You got to put a body on Noah. That's the only way he's going to hurt you is right at the rim.
Noah looks healthy. He missed the last 3 games because of a sprained ankle. That's a 2-point hit for Channing Frye. Missing last 3 games, Joakim Noah. He exudes energy and bounce out there on the court. So important to this team, and one of the best post-perimeter defenders in the NBA.
When you have a teammate that gives that type of energy, you can't let up. You know, I mean, he can look you in the face and tell you you're not working hard enough. And that's the balance of this Bulls team right now.
Grant Hill wants to post up Derrick Rose. You can see the strength of Rose pushing Grant Hill about 18 feet away, and now fading away along the baseline, forcing the miss. Great defense from Derrick Rose. Goes behind the back, then lost the dribble to Nash.
He's too fast for the ball.
And reaching in Noah to thwart the Suns' fast break opportunity right at midcourt.
You know, you don't pay attention to it, but he put a change in direction going full speed to sideways. I mean, you take a look at this. There you go, and he changes direction. Look, if you and I tried that right now, both our knees be broke. I mean, you know, and I'm talking about even some guys in the league. I mean, it is only a few guys can change direction like that. And, you know, Steve Nash has shown to be as good as anybody at doing that, especially, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, those MVP years, how he would just change direction on guys. But this guy right here, I mean.
Yeah, he does. He takes your breath away when you watch him physically, and kind of a mini LeBron James. You mentioned LeBron has won the last 2 league MVPs, and he's kind of a pint-sized LeBron James with the strength, the ability to rise up. We're going to talk about that outside game. Just 22 years of age. If indeed he does win MVP, Eddie, he would be the youngest MVP in the history of the game. Steve Nash, tissue soft off the window.
Well, and homegrown. I mean, this is where his basketball started. He is a product of Chicago, and that's what makes this story much better than what it is.
Nash defensively covering Derrick Rose. He dumps it off to Carlos Boozer. Oh, crashing down, hitting the floor hard with Grant Hill. Alvin Gentry felt that should have been an over-the-back loose ball foul on Chicago.
Noah's going to jump over you. You just have to put a body on him. That time, you know, Channing Frye probably got more of Grant Hill than Noah did.
Yeah, you can tell that Frye was kind of locked up along the hip of Grant Hill. And Taj Gibson has come in now for the Bulls, second-year player out of USC. Luol Deng, jab step, drives on Dudley, pulls up, goes for the bank shot, and cleared once again by Marcin Gortat, who's now ripped down 7 rebounds. Here comes the sprinter, Grant Hill, taking it home.
He put some speed on Luol Deng.
Still just amazing to watch Grant Hill run the floor. It's been a heartbeat. Gortat cleared the rebound, a couple dribbles, and Hill is right at the rim. 2:43 to go here in the first quarter. Steve Nash, back from his illness, looking pretty good here in the opening period. Mark Grace, the one-time Cub, singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And EJ, we were out at the ball game yesterday watching the D-backs and the Chicago Cubs. Unfortunately for the D-backs, they lost yesterday, and they lost again today, 6-5. But there's the group, and what seats we had at Wrigley. Right there next to the Cubs dugout, your beloved Chicago Cubs. And I can't believe, oh, that's right, Eddie did sing after that game, didn't he? What were you singing? I think you were singing this song.
Go Cubs, go.
There we go. There we go.
The Cubs are gonna win today.
You want me to sing that song?
You were yesterday.
I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Okay, you did in front of us and the few Cubs fans that were at the game.
Hey,
Attendance
Chicago,
is down.
what do you say? Cubs are going to win today.
That's not what it sounded like yesterday.
I know, I was jamming. I had some music behind me. I had a great time.
The Cubbies are bouncing back after a rough series with the Pirates. They take the first 2 from the D-backs.
At the expense of our D-backs. And I don't like that. I really don't.
Yeah, you root for the D-backs. when they're at home in Phoenix and not playing your Cubbies. No doubt about it. Rose almost turned it over. Hakeem Warwick is on the floor out of that timeout. Jumps out at Derrick Rose. Comes up short. Rebounded by Channing Frye. Steve Nash already has 6 assists, Eddie. 7 rebounds for Gortat.
Yeah, Steve is back, and it's good to see him feeling good. I mean, that gives the Suns a very good chance to pull this victory out.
Kurt Thomas on the floor. Now for the Bulls. He was sensational coming in for Joakim Noah when Noah was out with an injury. And the veteran, the former Sun, now running the post. Also on the floor for the Bulls, Ronnie Brewer has come in. Final 2 minutes here of the first quarter. Mass substitutions for both teams. Vince Carter off the bench for the Suns, and here's Quincy Brewer. Ronnie Brewer. Quincy Brewer. Ronnie Brewer, the 26-year-old who started in Utah with the Jazz, was traded to Memphis, and Ronnie Brewer knocks it down.
When he's hitting that shot, they're pretty good.
Hakeem Warwick goes up, and he's fouled by Kurt Thomas.
You know, I think that's the Bulls' negative right now, in that I don't know if they have enough shooters. You know, come playoff time when defenses change and everybody starts to gang up on Rose, I mean, who's going to step up and knock down shots consistently? Luol Deng has proven to be a big-time scorer, but other than that, you got some guys that it's going to be tested, and Brewer is one of them.
Yeah, so Ronnie Brewer and Keith Bogans, those are the 2 guards right now for the Chicago Bulls. And if you were to look at the team, Eddie, is that the weak spot right now, that position?
Well, I think it's the weak spot, but I think overall it's just the lack of just great outside shooting. I mean, you can tell they don't score a lot of points. And so, you know that that's a weakness of theirs, but defensively they've been able to win games. I mean, and that's what wins championships anyway. We all know that. But it'd be interesting to see as the playoffs start if any of these guys can start to knock down some shots. When you have your top 2 scorers in Deng and Rose at 45% themselves, I mean, are these other guys going to be able to step up and knock down shots?
Well, it's interesting, too. The Bulls signed Ronnie Brewer right after they lost out on J.J. Redick. The Bulls actually signed J.J. Redick, who was a restricted free agent, to an offer sheet, but it was then matched by Orlando. Just think about this Bulls team if they had J.J. Redick. That would add some outside shooting, as Taj Gibson shows a nice touch from outside.
Redick would be an all-star playing with Rose. Yeah, he can flat out shoot.
A pretty good defender as well. Vince Carter on the drive, rebounded by Taj Gibson.
Well, Vince took his angle away. I think you don't try to score it like that. I think you go for that white square right there. It made it a very difficult shot for him.
Physical play inside, reaching in with Vince Carter, trying to catch Taj Gibson on his way up. Gibson has about 20 to 25 pounds on Vince Carter down there in the paint. This is a very physical player coming out of USC.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, I think he's like a 20-year-old freshman when he went to USC. So, he's a guy that, he's got some age on him, which I think has helped him coming into the league. The maturity level has been real big for Taj Gibson.
He's part of this Bulls team, though. A lot of beef, a lot of toughness. He has a reputation of being a solid rebounder and defender coming out of college, where he was the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. So he fits right into the game plan of Tom Thibodeau. And a nice touch at the line. Bulls lead is 3. Chicago 8 of 9 free throw shooting. Derrick Rose has hit 5 here in the first quarter. Vince Carter, trouble with the dribble, turned it over. Derrick Rose scoops it up, loses it again. Fans were ready for a breakaway dunk.
He was too.
Yeah, couple steps ahead of himself. Driving on Josh Childress. Childress swiped at the ball. Rose went down, no call, and here comes Aaron Brooks. Brooks played well in San Antonio in place of Steve Nash. As the Suns went with Brooks and Xavier Dowdell at the point. Hakeem Warwick to the 10th floor with a crush. Pretty head fake.
Yeah, and you don't fake Kurt Thomas out much. He's going to stay anchored down. Matter of fact, Kurt hasn't jumped for about 5 years. But that time, for some reason, he left his feet, and Hakeem went right around him.
Final seconds, first quarter. Kurt Thomas, he'll hoist it up and miss everything. Bad couple of possessions for the one-time Sun, Kurt Thomas, and we are done with one. Here from Chicago, the Bulls will take a 25-24 lead into the second quarter, and we started with a bit of fun. And The point guard, Steve Nash, back in the lineup, but forgetting to wear his game shorts. He had the practice shorts on before somebody told him, and they had to do a little change out.
That's hilarious.
There were the Suns building the wall as Steve Nash put on his game shorts. Out of the huddle he comes. 1-point game going to the second quarter. You are watching.
Finds new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates.
Grant Hill with 6 points in the first quarter for the Suns, and defensively helping to hold Derrick Rose to just 1 of 5 shooting. Rose missed all of his three-point attempts, but he did hit 5 free throws as we begin the second quarter with Chicago on top 25-24. Suns have Childress, Robin Lopez, Hakeem Warwick, Aaron Brooks, and Vince Carter. 5 on the floor. Vince lets it fly. Another board for Taj Gibson. He hands it up to C.J. Watson. Quickly up ahead. Brewer finds Luol Deng for 3. Rebounded by Ashek, and he is hammered by Josh Childress.
He's a big guy. I mean, he's really helped them this year. He's been very physical, very active, and you know, he's going to get some minutes down the stretch and into the playoffs. I mean, he has really become a nuisance and a guy that loves to have a little controversy. You know, he is a little confrontational.
Omer Asik, 24 years of age, the rookie from Turkey. What's been controversial?
I mean, it's his physical presence, and he hasn't backed down from guys.
Oh, look at this, the Turkish hammer.
Not vocal, but just, you know, he's hit some guys, he's fouled some guys hard, and he gives them a little look, you know, and so that's what this defense offers you. You know, you're going to get hit.
The Turkish hammer. So the Suns have the Polish hammer and the Turkish version here in Chicago. Childress rips down the rebound. Asik, 7 feet 255, had a 16 rebound performance recently against New Jersey, and a hand check on C.J. Watson, the 26-year-old, who was brought over in a deal with Golden State this past summer.
A lot of Utah guys. C.J. I think was a Utah Jazz for a little bit.
Yeah,
you got Boozer, you got Korver, you got Brewer.
Yep. They did some winning and played some defense there in Utah, playing under Jerry Sloan. Those are the kind of players that I'm sure Thibodeau would love to have on his team. Lopez came up short on the hook. And here comes C.J. Watson. He's had some big scoring games, too, in Golden State with the Warriors. Actually had a 40-point game last season. Deng will try again for 3, tipped out of there, and finally winds up in the midst of Brewer. Brewer came out of Arkansas. Taj Gibson rams into Robin Lopez, and a foul on the way to the cup.
Well, you know, they're all about getting second and third opportunities, whether it's on offensive rebounds, getting steals, and what have you. And so the Suns can't give in to that. That's how the Bulls get separation. It's just a hustle part of the game that gains control for them, and all of a sudden you look up and you're down 10 points. You're like, how did that happen? You know, so they have to be careful here.
They'll come at you in waves. The Bulls and Taj Gibson, they have won 3 in a row, 15 wins in their past 17 games. And tonight's game is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. It's been a parade to the free throw line for the Bulls so far here in the first half. Already 12 free throw attempts to just 2 for the Phoenix Suns. 1 of 2 at the line for Taj Gibson. 3-point lead for Chicago. Mentioned that they will host the Celtics on Thursday. Boston has taken 2 of 3 from the Bulls this season, but those two teams have not met in 3 months. A very intriguing matchup, and an offensive foul on Robin Lopez, a moving screen as he belted C.J. Watson to the floor.
Yeah, tough to hand the ball off and set a screen at the same time, and most times they're going to call a foul. You know, the guy with the ball cannot actually set a screen while he has the ball in his hands, and that's a tough break because Aaron Brooks is going to get a wide open shot.
Bulls shooting only 35% from the field. They turned the ball over twice, 4 turnovers committed by the Suns. Luol Deng, a little hesitation move sent away by Robin Lopez, who comes away with a big block. Vince Carter over to Aaron Brooks. Pretty fast break for the Suns.
Yeah, smart move by Vince Carter that time, realizing he had 2 guys on one side of the floor. He kept the basketball and created a little space and got Aaron Brooks the ball.
Great to see Robin Lopez protecting the rim now defensively on Asik. Jumps out at C.J. Watson. Comes up shy off the front iron. Another offensive rebound on a long rebound that went out to Brewer. Pitch out, Watson all alone for three. Down it goes for C.J. Watson.
Yeah, and see, that's what they're all about. See, they're all about getting 2 shots on 1 possession, and that's what you can't do. You got to make them one and done. Those are tight rims. You're getting a lot of long bounces.
Brooks then is tripped up and loses a shoe. He's trying to put his left shoe back on. Actually throws it into the front row. So Aaron Brooks playing on 1 sneaker right now. He just tossed the shoe over to a fan in the front row. And now he's going to go back and retrieve it. Alvin wants a few seconds from the referee so Aaron can relace those sneakers. I guess he was just ready to go back defensively as quick as he can. Playing on 1 shoe, he's going to go, nah, forget it. So Brooks is ready to go. 9:39 to go here in the second quarter.
What are you going to do to get a foul? He snatched his shoe off.
I think that's part of the reason why he threw it into the front row. He was still upset that there was no whistle.
That was a mistake. You don't do that when you're on the road. That Bulls fan is going, they're going to get him. He's supposed to run up to the top of the rafters with the shoe.
Korver's miss. Offensive rebound by Brewer. Gives it up to Taj Gibson for the hoop. Ronnie Brewer has been a force on the offensive boards and comes away with the assist to Taj Gibson and a chance at a 3-point play.
Suns' initial defense is pretty good. I mean, getting stops, but not blocking out. I mean, you got to put a body on somebody, and that's the toughest part of the game, no doubt about it, is having to wrestle with a guy down low to get position to get the rebound. But they're going to have to get it done because the Bulls are going to do it consistently.
Going back to Aaron Brooks, wouldn't that have been something that the fans would have tossed it behind them about 5 rows, then 10 rows. Next thing you know, it winds up in the 3rd deck.
That's what a good fan does.
That's home court advantage.
But he's on the front. He's sitting in the front. They're not going to bother him here. He's paying a good penny to sit there.
Not going to do anything. He just tosses it over his head. Pass goes inside to Brewer. Fouled on the way up. Vince Carter was there. Let's see who was nailed with the foul. It will go, I believe, on Vince Carter, the son. Either that or Robin Lopez. Actually, it's Robin Lopez. Timeout, 8:56 to go here in the first half with the Bulls on top. Biggest lead has been 6, currently up 4 on the Suns. And tweet with the hashtag SunsTV your questions for Suns legend Tom Chambers. If he answers on Suns Game Time, you could win prizes courtesy of Nova Home Loans. How about this, Eddie Johnson? Robin Lopez did pick up that last foul. That's his 4th foul in just 3 minutes of action in the first half.
Wow.
Woo. So he'll have to sit down, needless to say. Marcin Gortat returns.
Realistically, he can just go to the locker room because he's not getting back in to the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Gortat's okay with that. He is in phenomenal shape. For a guy his size, Gortat, he runs like a deer and he can run forever. 7 rebounds in the first 10 minutes of this game for Marcin. And back to the line go the Bulls.
You know, I try to say this as nice as I can.
Oh, no.
You know,
you never sugarcoat anything.
But Robin has to be better than that. And look, you're a professional basketball player. You know when you have 2 fouls. And so sometimes you got to restrain yourself. And to get 4 in 3 minutes, that's just not thinking clearly. That's not being focused totally. He has to be better than that.
He had a good offensive game against the Spurs. Not many Suns played very well in that game. It was Carter against the hoop, but Robin did have double-figure scoring. He scored 10 against the Spurs, but even in the minutes that he received, only pulled down 1 rebound. We've probably seen the last of Robin here in the first half. 4-point lead for Chicago. Carter with his 2nd bucket off the bench, and that's where Kyle Korver came from. Off the Chicago Pine. That's a great pickup, averaging 8 points, and he's 7th in the league right now in 3-point percentage. Of course, you may know that he set the new NBA season mark last year in Utah. 53% from far away for Kyle Korver, beating the old record that was held by Steve Kerr.
he's one of a group of guys that you can just put in a little bowl in the NBA and say every time he catches it, you think it's going in. And that's what makes him extremely dangerous. He can flat out shoot it.
And a quick release. Vince Carter, there's that fadeaway along the baseline, and Asik tears it down, but then throws it right over to Josh Childress, stolen back by C.J. Watson. Josh tried a shovel pass over to Hakeem Rose, and there's Kyle Korver downloading a three.
He'll download it with rapid fire if you let him shoot it that wide open.
Bulls with their biggest lead. They're up by 9 points. Kyle Korver from deep, extending the advantage for Chicago here at home, trying to make it 34-5 on their home floor.
It's all about defense. The Bulls getting it done, and it's culminating into wide open three-point shots from Kyle Korver.
Never lived in Phoenix. His parents live in Scottsdale. Said he's always been a Suns fan. So wearing his orange tux and top hat. The Kia card is brought to you by Kia Motors, proud partner of the Phoenix Suns. We take a look at assistant coach here in Chicago, Ed Pinckney. Suns first-round pick in 1985 out of Villanova. 2 seasons in Phoenix. And then the Suns traded Ed for Eddie. Eddie Johnson coming over in the deal from Sacramento for Ed Pinckney in 1987. And our lives have never been the same.
You know, I like Ed Pinckney.
You like him a lot.
Yeah,
they gave you a ticket to Phoenix.
Yeah, Pinckney's a nice guy. But I think that'll go down as probably one of the worst trades in Phoenix Suns history.
A steal of a deal, you're saying. Also as an assistant coach in Minnesota. Of course, he was part of that Villanova team that shocked Georgetown and won the national championship. We did not see a shocking result from Butler last night. Boy, wasn't that a riveting NCAA final game?
That was probably one of the worst shooting exhibitions I've ever seen in my life.
19% for the Butler Bulldogs. Down goes Korver. It goes off of the Bulls. Grant Hill was trying to make a pass toward the corner, and the Suns will still have possession.
Well, Grant just trying to avoid an offensive foul. Just let go of the basketball and got away with it.
Quick shot, Channing Frye on the inbounds play. Channing Frye sticks it. Look at this Bulls team here in the first half. Their starters have scored 19 and then 20 from their bench, led by Taj Gibson, who has 6, 5 for Korver, and Ronnie Brewer, who has the ball. Little crossover, pull up. A funky looking shot, to say the least, for Ronnie Brewer. That elbow sticking out wide right. Dudley drives to his left, little head fake. Asik tapped out and retrieved by C.J. Watson. C.J. crisscrossing, trying to pass up Steve Nash. Gets it over to Gibson, scoop pass, and it's blocked by Channing Frye, but a foul on Channing on the shot attempt from Ronnie Brewer. And the Bulls going back to their line where they have already hoisted up 16 free throws. Suns still with just 2 at the line here in the first half.
You know, they don't run, but they will run on turnovers. They'll run on quick shots. And, you know, C.J. Watson pushing the basketball. Again, it's all about confidence. It's amazing when you can put a player that really didn't have a lot of confidence shooting the ball into a system that's winning basketball games like Brewer. And all of a sudden, he can shoot the ball with that ugly release. But, you know, I think he dislocated his arm or something when he was a young boy. And so I don't bother him too much on the way he shoots because, you know, he had an unfortunate accident.
Yep, broke his arm as a kid in a water slide accident. That's why it never actually straightened out for Ronnie Brewer.
For me, it's still disgusting to watch.
You turn away every time he puts up a shot. Lob feed, hello to the 10th floor for Marcin Gortat off the assist from Steve Nash. That's the 7th assist for Nash, 2nd bucket for Marcin. And that cuts into the Bulls lead. Chicago now up 8. Past the halfway point here of the second quarter. Back at it here on My 45 tomorrow night from Minneapolis. Suns taking on the Timberwolves. Into the corner, it's C.J. Watson. Lets it fly for 3. Wow. They have some talent coming in off the bench and experience. Long pass up ahead. Nash found Jared Dudley. He thought he was fouled on his way to the rack. Todd Gibson, little pump fake, goes in on Channing Frye. Ripped out of there by Carlos Boozer. Suns getting beat up on the offensive glass.
Well, I thought Boozer got away with a push. I Alvin Gentry is not excited about this at all. I thought Boozer got away with a push in the back. The officials are allowing the Chicago Bulls to push the orange jerseys underneath the rim. Well, okay. Now, guess what? You're going to have to hit them early on and not allow them to do it. The officials are allowing them to play, and the Suns are going to have to do something about it. They're going to find themselves in serious trouble.
Presented by Budweiser. Great times are waiting, and grab some buds. Get to the game for the Suns' last 2 regular season home game matchups. Don't miss your Suns taking on the Timberwolves April 11th, and then Western Conference rivals San Antonio April 13th. Hot seats are still available at suns.com/TV tickets, or you can call 1-800-4NBA-TICKS. Over the last 5 minutes each, the Bulls on a 20-8 run on the Suns. You can see what they have done with Steve Nash on the floor and then on the bench. Only 1 assist without Steve Nash in the game.
Yeah, not good ball movement, but also, look, you can't keep up with anybody if you only have attempted 2 free throws and they have 18.
Nash chasing his own miss. He starts out 1 of 5 from the field, does have those 7 assists. Nearing the 5-minute mark here of the second quarter. They have always needed that inside presence, that low post score. They have it now in Carlos Boozer. He fed his one-time teammate in Utah, Brewer. He was denied inside by the Suns' interior defense. Alvin Gentry, no doubt, wanting some more competitive fire coming out of that timeout, and delivering is Grant Hill.
They're going to need more of that, but they're going to need a lot on this end in terms of blocking out and only giving up 1 opportunity. 1 and done is important.
It's been a strong bench performance for Chicago here in the first half. 26 points off the bench, led by the likes of C.J. Watson, Taj Gibson, along with Korver and Brewer. The Bulls turn it over. Nash flings it over to Jared Dudley. Lines it up, can't knock it down.
Yeah.
A rip for Boozer.
A left dribble would have freed him from Korver. Korver can't guard many people, and Jared Dudley, I think, lost an opportunity to get a sure 2 points.
Second and final meeting here between the Suns and the Bulls. Chicago won that double overtime game back in late November, 123 to 115 over the Suns at downtown Phoenix. That rebound tipped out to Jared Dudley. Here comes Grant Hill on the sprint again, trying to slice the 2 defenders, but an offensive foul on Grant Hill, who doesn't like that call one bit.
Avoided Korver. I mean, he tried to avoid Korver. And they're going to give Korver the benefit of the doubt. What did he hit? Didn't touch him. I mean, what did he hit?
Just grazed the shoulder again. That's for an offensive foul. You're supposed to.
That is terrible. I mean, that might be the worst call I've seen all year.
Wow.
Seriously. Because he didn't hit him.
Well, I agree. No doubt about it. Again, to be an offensive foul, you're supposed to hit him straight in the middle of the chest.
You can't blow your whistle and think it's going to happen. Professional athletes are too good.
Offensive foul on Carlos Boozer. He got away with one a few minutes ago, shoving Gortat in the back. This time trying to create space with that offhand. That's the first personal foul on Boozer, who has 6 points and 6 rebounds so far in the first half. There's Steve Nash off of one leg and drains it.
He didn't look 100% getting off the bus. Then he told me, well, I don't have to guard Derrick Rose most of the night. That's going to help me.
Yeah. Once again, thanks to Grant Hill, his good friend, taking over that assignment. Boozer spitting past Channing Frye. He is cat quick inside. And again, the Bulls over the last 4 or 5 years, Eddie, they have not been able to go deep in the playoffs or have as much success because they have been looking for that proven scorer at the power forward position.
Well, and he's that. I mean, I guarantee you he's going to have some huge games in the playoffs because he can score the ball. His thing is just staying healthy. I mean, that's been Boozer's problem throughout his career, and little nagging injuries has kept him out 10, 12 games at a time. But when he's on the floor and he's in rhythm, I mean, he is very good. 15 feet on end, he is very good.
He has his own routine at the free throw line, too. Likes to take 3 bounces, deep squat, and then whispers, nothing but net.
Is that what he whispers?
That's what he whispers. He works okay, 69%. It's not like he's at 85%.
I think he needs to change. It's nothing but rim and hope it bounces in. But this hit more rim than anything.
Traveling violation on Channing Frye. He needs to channel his inner Eddie Johnson.
I don't know about that. It's his inner Steve Nash. You know, reach for the top.
That's even better.
Reach for the top.
Good point.
That was only about an 85%.
I was trying to prop you up. 3 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 11-point lead. Korver quickly blanketed by Jared Dudley. Finds Derrick Rose. Offensive rebound. Another one for Chicago. This time, Joakim Noah, who sets up Luol Deng.
The Suns aren't fighting. I mean, they aren't fighting till they get the ball. You know, they're looking for someone else to get the rebound, and everybody's standing and watching.
Channing Frye off the creative pass from Steve Nash. Here comes Derrick Rose. The Bulls are plus 18 free throw attempts here in the first half, and they are a plus 9 rebounding. 27-18 advantage. Boozer gives it over to Kyle Korver. A little wide left.
You know, every time they miss, the white jersey still gets a hand on the ball first.
You know, and Boozer, too, after he signed as a free agent here, he helped recruit Kyle Korver to sign here in Chicago with him. Korver trying to cut off Jared Dudley, and there's the blocking call. That's the one that you wanted a few minutes ago.
Yeah, just go left on Korver. He can't slide his feet. You know, he's good enough where he can get up on you. He's got some length, you know, to bother you on the initial catch and the look. Put the ball on the floor, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like he's jumping double dutch. He can't move.
That's just the 5th personal foul on the Bulls here in the half. The Suns have been whistled 13 times. Shot clock is down to 5 for Nash. Channing Frye. Long rebound tipped out by Jared Dudley. Good hustle from Dudley. Takes it along the baseline. Crush number 9 for Jared Dudley.
Yeah, you know what? He did it on the right guy. If he tried to lay it up, Noah's going to send it back in the stands. That's what you do.
And that was a solid orange crush from Jared Dudley, and it forces a timeout called by Tom Thibodeau with $1:30 to go here in the first half. The Suns still trailing by 11. Jared Dudley, unlimited airtime here at the United Center. Nash now defensively on Derrick Rose, who has been quiet so far in the second quarter. Rose is still just 1 of 6 from the floor. Gortat went up with Carlos Boozer, and another offensive foul on Carlos Boozer.
I don't know what the officials are looking at, but, you know, if you're the Phoenix Suns, you like it. I mean, Boozer is just, roaring back into the chest of Gortat. And I'm trying to figure out where the foul was there.
I didn't see it on that one.
Some strange fouls called, or non-fouls called.
Yeah, the phantom fouls. That's the second on Boozer. And he will watch the rest of the way here in the first half. Hakeem Warrick, who played for the Bulls last season, gives it up to Jared Dudley. Warrick actually split the season between Milwaukee and Chicago. Nash trying to manufacture, looking for Gortat, stolen by Joakim Noah, loose on the floor, picked up by Taj Gibson, run out, Luol Deng, up and under, the reversal.
Yeah, Gortat moving away from the ball. You know, he apologizes to Steve on that one. You got to stay right there and allow Steve to just get the ball to you. You don't have to really move.
3 Bulls have 8 points here in the first half. Deng, Boozer, and Ronnie Brewer. Grant Hill has 8 for the Suns. Josh Childress, corner pocket. Boy, Gibson went right over the top of Jared Dudley. Almost knocked off his headband, but no call. Nash trying to work through a screen from Joakim Noah, who now rolls. Wants it in the post on Warrick. Instead, it's Deng. Spins and finds Taj Gibson. In and out. And Childress, good rebound. It shows a great hands. He actually mistimed that board, but was still able to pull it down.
Yeah,
Final 7 seconds. Nash into the paint, hangs in the air, finds Josh Childress trying to flip it in. Loose on the floor, picked up Childress to beat the buzzer, and he cannot do it. Done with 2 quarters here at the United Center. 13-point lead for the Bulls going into the locker room.
Well, I think Alvin Gentry can say good things about his initial defense. I think they've done a good job, especially on Derrick Rose, but it's the second and third opportunities keeping them off the glass that has hurt the Suns and put the Bulls on the free throw line, and that's what's culminated into this deficit.
Steve Nash returning to the Suns starting lineup, had 9 assists in the first half. We have come to the end of the first half with the score: Bulls 53, Suns 40. Stay tuned for the Toyota halftime report with Kevin Ray and Tom Chambers. Bulls outscored the Suns 28-16 in that second quarter, and you're watching Phoenix Suns Suns basketball, presented by Casino Arizona. Badlock, John McCann, our graphics whiz. Eddie Dean, the highlight machine. 13-point lead for the Bulls. We get set for the start of the third quarter. Tom Leander along with E.J. Eddie Johnson. Really, the story of this game was the Bulls bench in the second quarter when they compiled 20 points.
Yeah, and then the fact that the Suns only shoot 2 free throws, and the Bulls get 20 plus 18. You can't win any basketball game with that differential.
Bulls went 15 of 20 from the free throw line. Channing Frye starts the second half with a 3-point hit. Cuts the lead to 10. So the Bulls overall in the first half, their bench with 26 points to just 10 bench points for the Suns. Rose and Nash were offline with their shots in the first couple of quarters. Rose was 1 of 6. Nash went 2 of 6 from the field. Another one right at the rim for Joakim Noah.
Yeah, and you just said it, at the rim. That's where he's going to get most of his attempts.
Noah now with 6 points. And then the offensive rebounding in the first half. 7 offensive boards for the Chicago Bulls. 4 of them coming from Ronnie Brewer as we go inside the box score with Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Just 7 points for Derrick Rose in the first half, 4 for Nash, but Steve did have the 9 assists. Suns come in 2 games under 500, 37 and 39. They have lost 10 of their last 14 games. Channing Frye got a little push off on Joakim Noah. Yeah, Frye mystified at that call.
Well, I'm mystified until I see a replay, because Rodney Mott has called some offensive fouls that's just driving me. Where are you?
Is that, no wait, is that the second worst call you've seen this season?
Hold me down, Tom. I'm ready to go out there and get a tackle on Rodney Mott. Are you kidding me, man?
Here comes Derrick Rose slicing in for 2. And the elevation, the power, the quickness, the entire package for Rose. Biggest lead for the Bulls. Jared Dudley deep for 3 over the top of the backboard and out of bounds. Biggest lead now 14 for Chicago. Now, you didn't like a couple of calls in the first half, in particular Grant Hill when he tried to cut past Kyle Korver, and they called Grant for an offensive foul.
You know, Rodney Mott normally a pretty good official. He's having a tough night. I know he's going to look at some tape and he's going to hear my comments. I'll say it again. You're having a tough night right now.
Way to back it up. Boozer trying to back down on Gortat. Help from Dudley defensively. 3 on the shot clock for Bogans, who has not scored as their starting shooting guard, but that's a misnomer here in Chicago. He's not much of a shooter. He's in to play some defense. Nash put a little English on that pass, intended for Gortat. It was kicked. And the Suns still have 15 seconds on the shot clock. Phoenix 41% from the field against the Bulls team that is #1 in opponents' field goal percentage.
And that's why the Suns got to find a way to get to the line. I mean, and they can't do this either.
11th turnover, Joakim Noah flushes it home. 11 turnovers resulting in 15 points for the Chicago Bulls. And it's a 16-point lead. Frye passing on the 3. Now passes it out to Nash. Picked up by Bogans. Bogans last season in San Antonio with the Spurs, and they hope he was going to be the second coming of Bruce Bowen defensively. And Marcin Gortat, Nash in double figures with 11 assists. Gortat has 6 points with his 7 boards. Bulls patiently work it over to Boozer. Deng, bounce feed. Joakim Noah going to work offensively now for Chicago.
Yeah, very good interior passing. Their big guys head up looking for each other.
Eddie, it is very reminiscent of the Utah Jazz. Steve Nash fires away, but you look at the precision and the execution. And you talked about the fact that they have 3 former Utah Jazz players on their team. They run many of the same sets. That crisp passing, very deliberate. Rose for 3, cans it. 3-point hit for Derrick Rose. Timeout, Alvin Gentry slipping away from the Suns. A 19-point lead now for the Bulls.
And they're doing it defensively, getting stops, but also the Suns hurting themselves by turning the ball over. And now all of a sudden, Derrick Rose says, I want to make sure I take control. The long 3, they're up
Tonight's text poll question powered by Verizon is which team will represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals? Will it be Boston, Miami, Chicago, or Orlando? Those are your 4 choices. And text your choice to 88222. Stay tuned for the results throughout the game. Normal messaging rates apply.
Well, I won't say anything.
You won't? Oh, go ahead. You've already spoken out on Rodney Mott. You might as well talk about who's going to make the finals.
I picked Miami to start the year, and I'm staying with them.
Staying with it. I like this Bulls team. I like them a lot. But I know you like Miami because they have those go-to scores in a close game. And Wade and LeBron James. They will be even tougher in the playoffs. Just off the iron for Grant Hill. Trying to save it was Deng. Diving on the floor was Keith Bogans. Joakim Noah has been a force offensively here in the third quarter, where the Bulls have outscored the Suns 11-5. Bogans all alone for 3 in the corner.
He had all day long. Not all alone. He had all day long.
Bogans is a player who's played for both Van Gundys, both Jeff Van Gundy and Stan Van Gundy. And both of them agree that he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. He adds a 3-point shot. The Bulls lead is now up to 22. Steve Nash with 2 on the shot clock out to Channing Frye. Offensive rebound, Jared Dudley. And the stick back from 10 feet for Jared Dudley.
Suns are going to need more of that. They're going to need some opportunities to stop this clock and get to the line. They're going to set a record on free throw attempts in 4 games.
2 for 2. And there's the curveball launched by Joakim Noah. And he puts the guns back in the holster on his way back down the floor.
Oh, that shooting stroke, he should lead them guns in the holster consistently. That bothers
me. He's still doing it.
That bothers me. Yeah, because you're an NBA player. And, you know, it's just like somebody say, hey, I take care of my kids. You're supposed to. You're an NBA player. You're supposed to be able to knock down a 12-footer. Why do you have to do all that after you knock it down?
Because he doesn't do it very often.
Break.
Because he doesn't do it very often.
Doesn't matter, though. But well, he should hide then. He should be embarrassed. It just bothers me. You know, act like you've been there before.
Well, you know, you have to take into account who his hero is. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, who just made the Hall of Fame.
Dennis didn't do
Very
that.
colorful character.
But when
he did a lot of other oddball things on the court.
But when he scored, he didn't do that.
No, he never scored very often. Yeah. Nash into the lane on Derrick Rose. Good defense, forcing the pass out to Jared Dudley, sticking the 3. Steve Nash now with his 12th assist. Dudley, 12 points to lead the Suns, 10 for Channing Frye. Yeah, he was talking Joakim Noah about Rodman being his hero. His Bulls team actually was in Detroit. Suns.com promo calendar. Stop by the new Batteries Plus store in Gilbert this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for their Customer Celebration Day. Enter to win Suns tickets, meet the Suns Gorilla and the dancers, plus enjoy some free food. Then on Sunday, join the Suns at Verizon Wireless in the Tempe Marketplace from noon to 2 p.m. Try out one of the new tablets to enter to win a Suns autographed jersey. The first 200 people will also get a pair of Phoenix Suns tickets. And Leslie's Pool Supplies presents the second annual 10 weeks of Suns seats. Enter to win 2 tickets to the first 10 Suns home games next season at any Valley Leslie's Pool Supply store. No purchase necessary. For more info on these and more great offers, visit suns.com/promotions. So let's go back.
Makes a laughing at him still.
Yeah, Steve Nash can make the extraordinary look ordinary out there. Not even 100%. He said he started the season, Eddie, at about 178, 179 pounds. And he's down to 172. Lost a few more pounds with that recent illness over the course of this regular season. Boozer, high arching shot. And Gortat hands it off to Nash.
Still a little bit shell-shocked from being Harlem Globetrotter.
Gortat with his 9th pull down. Nash bounces off Rose, no call, and he still flips it home. Come on.
Boozer kept his hands down because he didn't want it to happen twice in a row. He said, I'll give you the layup.
You know, a lot of times Nash does initiate that contact as the Suns are on a 7-0 run. was a very physical bump from Rose. Outstretched arm of Luol Deng. Look at the wingspan of that player.
Jared Dudley made a mistake. He watched the ball, took his eye off of Deng, who moves extremely well without the ball.
Deng in double figures with 10 points. He's an impressive shot. Nash. Now inside of 10 on the shot clock. Gortat threw it away, and a foul in the backcourt on Channing Frye.
He cannot lay the ball out where Noah is. He can get and cover space. He can get to and cover space as well as any big man I've ever seen. And he'll pick him off. You got to make a solid pass.
Yeah, that first game in Phoenix, my opinion of Joakim Noah definitely changed. I've always thought he's been a solid player, but you're right, his defense out on the perimeter, he can change the face of the game with his presence defensively as he comes over to set the screen, and he's improved his offense as well.
If everybody worked as hard as him, they'd all reach their maximum ability.
Bogans, his pass is tipped by Dudley. Shot clock blows up on the Bulls, and the Suns will have it. He is a very unique player, and missing a number of games this season, both he and Carlos Boozer. So when you look at Derrick Rose and his MVP candidacy, you look at the amount of games that Boozer and Noah missed. I mean, that just justifies Derrick Rose being at the top of the heap.
And that's why he'll win it, just based on them being out and the Bulls still have an opportunity to have the best record throughout the playoffs.
And Noah and Boozer missing a combined 57 games, and the Bulls still #1 in the Eastern Conference. 4:40 to go here in the third. Too deep for Rose, and chasing it down in the corner is Channing Frye. Rose is now 3 of 9 from the field. He's just 1 of 5 3-point range. 71-54, 17-point lead, and a bump and a foul along the baseline. And we'll go on Boozer. That's his third. Second team foul on Chicago. Suns will have it on the side.
You know, and as you approach the playoffs, teams are going to look back at every game that Rose struggles to see if they can stop him some playoff time. And he still has to prove he can make that jump shot on a consistent basis.
Suns commit their 13th turnover. As you look at the progression of Derrick Rose, the #1 overall pick in 2008, Rookie of the Year in 2009, an All-Star the past 2 seasons, as Boozer puts it in, and then a member of Team USA last summer. That is quite a nice progression in the career of Derrick Rose, who's still only 22 years old.
That last play was a slow developing play, and the Suns still could not recover to take away what they're trying to do, and that's get the ball inside to Carlos Boozer.
Skip pass over to Luol Deng. He has that 3-point range and drills it. $7-0 run for Chicago. Lead balloons to 22. That's their biggest advantage. Grant Hill trying to answer with 3 of his own. Gortat, offensive rebound, and fouled from behind. Deng was there along with Boozer, and it will go on, I believe, Luol Deng, and it will. That is the first personal on Deng, and a couple free throws coming in for Marcin Gortat. Vince Carter will come on for the Suns. Road trip continues tomorrow against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then it's on to New Orleans and Dallas to close out this 5-game journey for Dudley and the Suns. Alvin Gentry's wardrobe courtesy of the Clothery at the Biltmore Fashion Park. I was talking to him. He mentioned that he's already voted for Derrick Rose as MVP, and I asked him about Coach of the Year, Eddie, figuring, okay, maybe Tom Thibodeau, and he said, nope, his guy is Doug Collins. Not surprising. He said, okay, might be a little biased. Of course, he coached with Doug, still remains very close friends. But he said, basically, the Sixers have the same team they did last year. You know, they added Evan Turner, but he hasn't had a real big impact. But his man for Coach of the Year, Doug Collins. Then followed by Thibodeau, Popovich, and said his dark horses are Nate McMillan and George Karl, who's just done a wonderful job in Denver, especially ever since that Melo trade.
This apples and oranges, but I think Thibodeau will get it. And if he didn't get it, all due respect to Collins, who's done a marvelous job, I think Greg Popovich gets it. They got swept out of the playoffs last year by the Suns, and they can wind up with the best record in the league this year with really the same cast. I think that's a great coaching job.
Yeah, a lot of people thought the Spurs were dead in the water after that. And Greg Popovich has totally turned around the offense in San Antonio and opened up the floodgates as Vince Carter pops in a 3. Carter now 7 points off the bench. The Suns 5 of 14 from behind the line. 76-59, 2:40 to go here in the third. Last year, the Bulls winning 41 games. Their head coach was Vinny Del Negro. Thibodeau comes in and working on 56 so far this season. Hogan's deep, rebound to Nash. Nash up ahead to a flying Hakeem Warrick. Timeout, Chicago. Thibodeau did not like watching that right in front of the Bulls bench. Steve Nash up top to Hakeem Warrick with the running start.
Luol Deng trotting back on defense, not recognizing a high flyer was behind him. And by the time the ball got in the air, it was too late.
Bulls will be taking on the Celtics here Thursday. But Eddie, you were talking about Steve Nash and his alley-oop feeds. He knows who his teammates are, what their abilities are. A little below the rim for Grant Hill, and then a higher alley-oop for Hakeem Warrick.
Exactly, you know, and he knows his teammates as well as anybody, and he knew that a team could go up and get it on the fly. And that's why players love to play with Steve Nash. I mean, he's going to hit you in your comfort zone to make life easy for you. All you have to do is just put it in the bucket.
Beat up, not feeling well, and Steve Nash still with 15 assists here tonight. Suns are shooting only 43% from the field. They knock down some more jumpers. Nash has easily 17 or 18 assists. Carter helped force the turnover. Wingman is Grant Hill, puts it in. Assist number 16 for Steve Nash.
And just like that, Suns are making a run to be right back in this basketball game, which really messes up the rotation for Tom Thibodeau, who was trying to go with this starter group for a long time. But Vince Carter in the passing lane leads to a three-point opportunity from Grant Hill.
But effective for Grant, who polishes off the three-point play. Grant had the 27 points and 8 rebounds against the Bulls in the first meeting in Phoenix. Now with 11. Cuts that lead to 12. Suns have sliced 10 points off the margin. Biggest advantage was 22. Shot clock down to 7, down to 6. Rising up along the baseline. The soft touch from Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot a jump shot when he's like within 15 feet. It's like a jump hook. Blew it.
Vince Carter with the 3. That would have been assist number 17 for Nash. 16 assists. We still have about 1:30 to go here in the third quarter. Pass is tipped. Another steal from Vince Carter. 2-on-1 run out. Vince goes to the left hand as he runs into Derrick Rose. I believe that was Derrick retreating defensively, and he'll be the one picking up the personal.
Well,
it is.
Vince gets away with it, but he could have made life a lot easier on himself if he had just given the ball to Steve Nash right away. Steve Nash would have got the separation for him and then probably allowed him to get an easier shot. Because he did not give the ball up, Derrick Rose tried to stand there and take the charge and almost got one.
So he's trying to add to their 10-0 run. Now make it 11 straight for Phoenix.
Well, you know,
actually, it was a 10-0 run before Derrick Rose hit that shot along the baseline.
Well, the reason why now the Suns are able to get going to their run is they're giving them only one shot. They're fighting on the glass, and they're forcing turnovers, and they're getting out and running. And that's the beauty of getting back in a game. They're going to continue that because the formula for the Bulls is to do it for 48 minutes.
So it's an 11-2 run for the Suns as Carter goes 1 of 2 at the stripes. Suns fall back into that 2-3 matchup zone. Gortat patrolling the paint, runs out to the free throw line to cover Carlos Boozer, and they leave Luol Deng.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't leave him. You recognize a shooter when you're in a zone, and you give up a shot to a guy that does not shoot as well.
Suns have been blistered at times when they've gone to that zone. It was not very effective in San Antonio against the Spurs. Pretty pass. Aaron Brooks to a knifing Josh Childress.
Yeah, and the reason why they get burned is you have to recognize. Now, you think about it. I mean, Ronnie Brewer and Taj Gibson are the guys you don't mind leaving open on the perimeter. Everybody else, you have to be close enough to get a hand in their face.
Suns work on this zone every day in practice. Brooks running out at Luol Deng. Bounces off of Aaron Brooks. Too deep on the bank shot. And a loose ball foul inside on Taj Gibson.
And that can help the Suns this half because now it seems like the Bulls aren't getting away with pushing in the back as they did in the first half. Now all you got to do is just get a body between a white shirt and the rim. And the officials right now are making that call. Could be the fact that when they did go in at halftime, they saw the Suns only had 2 free throws and the Bulls had about 100.
Definitely a reversal of fortune as the Bulls in the penalty situation. 5 team fouls, only 1 assessed to the Suns here in the third quarter. And the one-time Bull, Hakeem Warrick, knocks down the first free throw. This past summer, a sign and trade deal with the Chicago Bulls. Warrick becoming a member of the Suns. Phoenix handing over a second-round pick in this summer's draft to Chicago in order to sign Hakeem Warrick. Hack had 23 points against the Bulls in the first meeting in Phoenix. All 23 came in the first half. He had 19 in the second quarter. Suns built a 23-point lead and then lost that game in double overtime. Now we're going to have a jump ball. I'm not sure if they didn't know who it went off of, so they're going to go ahead and jump things off right here at midcourt.
Oh, come on. You know.
Oh, it was wedged.
You know Hakeem Warrick's going to win this jump. I'd be surprised if he loses this one. The pogo stick.
Against Taj Gibson. Ooh, close. Vince Carter secures the tap. And the Suns now can go for the final shot here of the third quarter. Bulls led by as many as 22. Now a 13-point lead.
Aaron Brooks loved to go to his left, shooting that fadeaway on this last second shot.
Down to 5. Brooks, pretty pass to Vince Carter for the Orange Crush.
Now that pass by Brooks was tough for Vince Carter, and most players would probably struggle with that. But he was able to catch it and dunk it.
Back-to-back fantastic dishes from Aaron Brooks. Deng travels, and there's still .6 on the clock. Tried to go behind the back after the dribble. Took a couple too many steps. And the Suns see if they can fire one off here quickly.
Well, a direct pass, you know, well, I just let it alone.
So we're headed to the fourth and final quarter here from United Center. Suns wound up outscoring Chicago 30-28. Back with the fourth quarter here on My 45 right after this. Here from Chicago, time for tonight's Laser Pass presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Centers. TeamEyeDoc.com. See the best that you can see. Steve Nash between the legs of Carlos Boozer to Marcin Gortat.
I tell you what, Carlos, he's going to be on every highlight. The highlight of embarrassment, because he reached for it too, and he looked like, you know, he looked like he was almost drunk. He couldn't even catch, couldn't even find his way.
Well, the Suns point guards have amassed 18 assists. All right, 16 for Nash, but 2 dazzling feeds from Aaron Brooks.
Yeah, why you gonna go there?
18 combined.
Hard, man.
Come on. Hey, those are 2 great passes from Aaron Brooks that we just saw late in that period. It's tough to keep up with Steve Nash in that department. Nash again is #1 in the NBA, just ahead of Rajon Rondo for another assist title.
Got to be aggressive here, Tom. Early, start the quarter. Try to get to the bonus quickly, so when the starters come back in, they don't have to work as hard and they can get to the free throw line.
Aaron Brooks, floater in the lane, and a foul on the release. Looked like the Bulls were going to blow out the Suns in the third quarter. They're leading by 22, and the Suns come marching right back, and a chance for Aaron Brooks to cut this lead to single digits.
Well, Suns get to the line 7 times in that third quarter, and that helps.
Terrific free throw shooter, Aaron Brooks. Sign up for My Suns Mobile, powered by Verizon. Get text messages with breaking Suns news, special offers, and promotions. Visit suns.com for more information. Had some wardrobe malfunctions earlier in this game. Steve Nash did not have his game shorts on, so they built a wall right before the opening tip, and he put on Xavier Dowdell's game shorts. Steve had on his practice shorts, so Xavier gave up his game shorts, and then you had Aaron Brooks, who lost his sneaker and threw it into the front row.
Well, that sealed the fact that Dowdell was not playing in the first half.
Exactly, not a chance. Offline, Suns come up with a rebound. The lead is down to 9. This be something. They're able to come back from 22 down. That would be justice after the Bulls came back from 23 down in Phoenix.
You can come back against them because they're not a great offensive team.
Tough break there. Childress found Hakeem Warrick. Couldn't control the pass, but the Suns will still have it with 8 on the shot clock.
You know, they score 98. I mean, that's what they do. And so if you can just start to secure the rebound, knowing that they're going to start to struggle a little bit from the field, and if you can get hot, you're right back in the game.
Suns have outscored the Bulls 18-5 on this run. And it goes to Hakeem Ward. Long shot along the baseline, out of his range, goes off of Vince Carter.
You know, that's too much time for Hakeem Ward to take that shot. You know, I understand it. That's your opportunity to, you know, clock running down, but you got about 7 seconds on that shot clock. You know, you're trying to get back in the game. Not a good attempt.
Suns come in 16-21 on the road this season. What's really hurt them this year, Eddie, is that 21-18 mark at home. They've not been able to dominate opponents on their home floor. Going in, Luol Deng hangs and hits past Channing Frye.
He loves to operate on that baseline. And you get him the ball running, especially to the rim, he contorts very well.
Suns have 2 more home games left against the Timberwolves, and then the finale against San Antonio. Brooks trying to spin it home. Here comes C.J. Watson. Zips it up ahead to Ronnie Brewer. Throws it away. Stolen by Josh Childress. Childress, who coming into this game had 6 steals in the last 2 games. He and Dudley have been stalwarts defensively. Rebound by Childress on the offensive glass, and the stick back for Josh Childress.
Yeah,
you talk about a guy on a pogo stick.
That's quick. That's quick. You know, you watching that Butler UConn game last night. The Butler big guys, they catch it. Took 2 hours to jump back up, put it in. You see how quick Childress got up? That's the difference between the pro level and the college level.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's an intimidating presence inside by those UConn defenders. Shot clock is down to 4, down to 3 for Ronnie Brewer. Not close. Good box out from Vince Carter and Channing Frye. Suns have seized the momentum. Trailing only by 9. Hakeem Ward. Shoulder fake and puts it home. That's a major league move by Hakeem Ward. The lead is down to 7. Timeout Chicago. Here come the Suns.
A big time comeback, and they're getting it done. What have I been preaching? One and done on this end. The Bulls, they're a brick shooting team. They're putting up some bricks. The Suns are coming back, and they're touching the net.
22-7 run after trailing by 22 points. Time for tonight's Flyby, presented by Southwest Airlines. Book a business select fare at southwest.com and fly through airport lines with Flyby priority lane access. Jared Dudley cleared for takeoff at the United Center, and number 9 was legit, Eddie Johnson.
That was legit. That was legit. He hung on the rim, and I like that. I like the style. That might have been his most stylish dunk from close in a crowd. I liked it. I like the way he hung on with one hand. And then the way he came down real nice and slow. I like that.
I'm glad he has your approval. So the Suns trail 76-54, down by 22, going on this 22-7 move in 7 minutes of action. And look at the Suns bench rebounding here in the second half, outscoring the Bulls bench 17-zip. Josh Childress has been a factor. Aaron Brooks has played well. Off balance, pullback shot, and then a follow cram by Taj Gibson.
You cannot relax. When they aren't shooting the ball well, they become aggressive at getting to the rim. Put a body on them.
8:35 to go here in the 4th. 9-point lead. Aaron Brooks drops it down to Vince Carter. Untended down low. C.J. Watson appeared just to give up.
No, well, he had no shit. I mean, look, he's giving up about 30 pounds down there. He was on an island. he was waiting. He said, I'll eat later.
Boy, he just stepped away, and that was room service for Vince Carter. 12 points off the bench for Vince. Taj Gibson from the free throw line, 15-footer. He has a nice touch from outside. Really worked on that offensive game.
This is not the time to lose your focus defensively. Doing a good job. 2 possessions after a Bulls timeout, they get wide open shots.
Gibson has been a force off the Bulls bench with 10 points and 9 rebounds. Vince knocks down the 3. Had a hand in the face from Taj Gibson and still drilled it.
He's in the zone now. I mean, look, with Vince Carter, he's so streaky. You want him to get his touches now. This is the best time to get him. 7:30 left. You want the ball in his hands a couple of times before you look to shoot.
Lead is down to 6. Inside, Brewer puts it in. Nice feed from Carlos Boozer. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Boozer tonight. Aaron Brooks trying to create, pulls it back now on Ronnie Brewer. Excellent defender, Ronnie Brewer. A long wingspan. Work, bounce feed to Vince. Beyond the line for three. Absolutely and one for Vince Carter. Chance at a 4-point play.
Like clockwork. I'm telling you, he is one of the most streaky individuals you ever want to see on a basketball court. And you just want to just streak him to the end right now. I'm telling you, get him the basketball. He is in Flago. He's flowing. He's kicking his feet out and getting fouls too.
Pulling the old Reggie Miller. 8 points already in the quarter. In the first 5 minutes of the fourth. Make it 9 points for Vince here in the period. 19 on the night.
You know, Vince sees Scottie Pippen sitting over there. He looked over at Scottie like, yeah, you remember when I used to do it to you every now and then.
Save me a seat in the Hall of Fame is what Vince is thinking. Derrick Rose, they double team him. They leave. Taj Gibson takes the dribble, trying to rise up on Akeem Ward, who clears it. Here comes Aaron Brooks. Suns have pulled within 4 after trailing by 22. Vince for 3 more, in and out. Halfway down, Suns get the offensive rebound from Childress. Reloading is Channing Frye. Warwick going after another Suns offensive rebound. And out of the pack comes Derrick Rose.
2 great looks there.
Would have cut the lead to 1. Korver gives it back to Derrick Rose. 4 of 10 from the field, 14 points so far for Rose. Comes in averaging 25, 7th best in the league. Nice kick. The soccer foot of
nice.
Channing Frye.
That was a good block. We had to sign him up for MLS. You know,
as a goaltender.
Ocho Cinco's trying out. He's kind of bombing out a little bit. Channing Frye, like he'd be a good goaltender.
No kidding. How about these reflexes? Kick, save, and a beauty.
If he didn't do it, it was a layup. Look at Scott. Scotty trying to grow the fro back like I am. You know, we trying to get old school again. You know, I can't go with the earring though. My ears aren't big enough. I can't do the earring.
You're not a bling guy. Never have been.
I can't do the earring.
Shot clock is down to 5 for Derrick Rose. Halfway through this fourth quarter, dips in, rolls off, and a loose ball foul. They'll keep it here. It was Vince Carter battling Joakim Noah, and Vince is hit with the foul. That is number 3 on Vince Carter, who has led the surge for the Suns here in the fourth quarter. 19 on the night for Vince. Timeout, just under 6 minutes to go here in the fourth. Play is brought to you by Right Guard. Never get caught off guard. You were talking about the fro of Scottie Pippen. This is Robin Fropez throwing it out.
Robin Fropez. Okay, I'll take that.
You want that one?
I'll take it. We haven't seen Robin since those 4 fouls in 3 minutes.
No, we haven't. Gobbling up the minutes again has been Marcin Gortat. He's played 31 minutes, 10 points, 11 rebounds, another double-double for March. Suns' last lead in that first quarter when they were up 20-19. Nash tracking Derrick Rose. Korver dumps it over to Carlos Boozer. Wants to do his thing on Marcin Gortat. Goes to that left hand, came up short. Solid defense from Gortat. Suns will have possession.
Well, good bodies again, just banging down low, keeping Noah and Dang off the glass. Bulls not really big now. Noah's the key guy to keep away from that rim.
Grant Hill to Vince Carter, who cut backdoor for that lob feed. He thought he was hit in the act.
That's a tough break there. That was almost in the rim.
Gorgeous feed from Grant Hill. Derrick Rose almost lost the dribble. And then, did he move the pivot foot? He did. Traveling violation on Derrick Rose.
He is not having an MVP night. I wonder if Grant Hill will get some of the credit for the D he's put on him again tonight.
Just the second turnover committed by Derrick Rose. It's the 14th by the Bulls. Gortat, skip pass, they move it around, baseline. Here comes Grant Hill, goes up and lays it home past Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, Noah went out and gave up the baseline, unlike him and this Bulls team who really cut off the baseline drive. And Suns right now, they're in a position for a huge upset.
This would be stunning. 2-point game. Boozer left alone, snowplows inside past Channing Frye. He is so crafty. He can go with that right hand, the left hand, Boozer now 12 points, 8 boards, 7 assists.
You know, a lot of times Channing just get caught in between. And in between, what I mean is, look, this is a professional now. You're not going to be able to give him a little body and deter his shot. You got to grab him, put him to the floor, okay, if that's what you're going to do, or block the shot. You can't get caught in between. You get caught in between, it's going to be an and one every time.
Misfires on the free throw. Bulls are 15 of 21 from the line. Suns are 10 of 12. I believe that was the first free throw for the Bulls in the second half. They put up 20 free throws in the first half. Shot clock down to 4. Vince had to force it up, and somehow it went in. They'll give credit to Vince Carter.
Yeah, I like he tipped it in. But the one thing he can't do with Noah is play with him. That guy can guard you for about 8 seconds. You got to be definitive in your move and not play games with him by putting the ball on the floor.
How did he tip that in? It appeared that there were 3 Bulls and Vince Carter vying for that rebound. And now away from the play, down went Vince. He is hit with the foul. Channing Frye has 5 for Phoenix. He's still on the floor. And for Vince Carter, that's his 4th.
Here it is. I mean, you know, he got away with one. No doubt about it. Got lucky here on the miss and able to tip it in. But he's got to size up Noah without much dribbling and be definitive in his move if he gets that matchup again.
21 points for Vince. 8 of 16 from the field.
This is all about Rose trying to get to the rim. Bulls have to be, Suns have to be ready.
Ashton, good job forcing the pass. Rising up Deng. Gortat in a wrestling match with Deng and Joakim Noah. They'll call for a jump ball. It'll be between Deng and Marcin Gortat. He is just an inhaler when it comes to rebounds. 11 boards for Marcin. And now he'll jump it off with Luol Deng.
Well, you have the advantage here, but you have to be careful of Bulls players running into the circle after the tip.
On the second tap, Gortat tipped it over to Vince Carter, and we're going to have a loose ball foul, I believe, a hold on Joakim Noah. So Noah tapped it first, then Gortat tipped it over to Vince Carter, and they called a foul on Joakim.
Yeah, and really no team right now in serious foul trouble. Both teams have 2 fouls to give.
3:50 to go here in the 4th. Of a 2-point game. Frye puts it on the floor, creates separation from Joakim Noah. Couldn't knock it down.
I'd like to see Vince Carter get touches here. I mean, you know, the guy's hot. Don't cool him off yourself.
Vince has 11 here in the 4th quarter. Nash loses his footing. Rose went up, and it goes out of bounds off of Derrick Rose. Credit the defense of Channing Frye.
No doubt about it. I mean, Channing Frye extended those arms and got him, but he jumped high enough where Rose had to meet him with the basketball. And Derrick Rose, I tell you, he's looking like Derek Flowers tonight.
But it appeared to go off of Channing Frye. That was a clean block. I don't believe it touched Rose after the swat. 3:28 to go. Here in the 4th, this 22nd timeout brought to you by Dial Complete. Defend yourself against germs this season. You're right, a frustrating night for Derrick Rose.
And no offense to the guy's name that really is Derek Flowers.
Derek Flowers, I was going to ask. And Derek Flowers is?
Derek Weed or Derek Plants or Derek, you know. He's not a Rose.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, you've talked about Scottie Pippen, who's just here to our right in the Basketball Hall of Fame. They just inducted and will induct some new members, 3 of them with Chicago Bulls ties when you talk about Dennis Rodman, Artis Gilmore, and the great coach, Tex Winter. What'd you think of Chris Mullin making it in?
That was a shock. And I love Chris Mullin. That's not why I say that. I mean, I'm not saying he's not deserving. I'm just trying to figure out how Reggie Miller can't get in and Chris Mullin does perform. I mean, you're talking about stats. If you compare the two, you would think Reggie Miller has a sincere advantage. But, you know, look, I'm never going to get in, so I can say whatever I want.
Well, you're not on the board there at the Hall of Fame, but you are on the panel for the Sportsmanship Award, of which Luol Deng is one of the nominees. There is Scottie Pippen. You're on that Sportsmanship Award with Mark Jackson and John Crotty and Rolando Blackman. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, The Drive is brought to you by Checker O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Driving in, the Suns Here, 45% from the field and a high percentage shot from Grant along the baseline.
Nice drive. Nice drive, quick drive around the shot blocker. Once you get past Noah, you don't have to worry about too much.
So tell us about being on the panel for the Sportsmanship Award. You look at Grant Hill. He's won it 3 times. Nobody else has won it more than once. What's the criteria?
Well, I think the criteria is just sportsmanship. I mean, based on me doing games and watching guys, what they've done in the community, and just how they handle themselves. You know, I mean, everybody that's really nominated can win it. But, you know, you just try to pick the guys that you think this particular year they've been pretty doggone good at what they do on and off the court.
2-point game. Nash trying to wiggle free of Derrick Rose. Takes it back from Vince Carter. 10 on the shot clock. Use the Gortat screen. Almost lost the handle. Fry covered up by Noah. Nash trying to drive on Rose. Loses the handle. And the shot clock throws up on Phoenix. That was not a pretty possession. Suns turn it over.
Channing Frye, this is one of the things, you know, and he's gotten better every year. This is when he has to get better because he put Steve Nash in a tough position because he gave him the ball again with about 4 seconds. I think when it's 6 seconds, you got to go and try something and then find somebody for a quick shot.
Well, you see the sticky defense of the Bulls, but Nash must have felt like a pinball bouncing off of Derrick Rose. A lot of contact, no call. There's the floater from Derrick Rose, bounces it on and off.
Yeah, he can't get anything to go, and this is a prime opportunity for the Phoenix Suns to pull an upset here.
Suns could tie or take the lead with a 3. 2:40 to go. Sensational comeback after being down by 22 in the 3rd quarter. They isolate Vince Carter. He called for it. Vince pulls back. Couldn't connect. Marcin Gortat. And the Suns with a fresh 24.
I don't like the attempt, though. You know, if you Vince Carter, look, you don't have to shoot fadeaways on Luol Deng. Face him up and try to take him to the bucket.
He's punching his forehead. You can see he is frustrated with himself as well.
I want to punch him right now for trying that last shot. Take it to the bucket.
Let's update our Verizon poll results as far as which team will make it out of the East all the way to the finals. 63% saying Chicago Bulls. You know, there are a lot of Chicagoans back in Phoenix.
Yeah, a lot of Chicago fans back in Phoenix, no doubt about it. My brother's one of them. I'm sure he's watching the game. Darren, forget about it. The Miami Heat is going to win the Eastern Conference. I said it.
Now the Bulls right now 2.5 ahead of Miami for the top spot in the East. 3 up on Boston. 56 wins. Most wins in 13 years for Chicago. Most since a guy named MJ was on the floor.
And Scotty.
And Scotty.
You know what? MJ didn't win anything until Scotty got here.
Rodman helped out for a few years.
No. MJ didn't win anything until Scotty got here.
Vince Carter, free, puts it on the floor. Grabs his own miss. Suns with a couple offensive rebounds. Now their 3rd crack at it.
See, that's what I like.
They go back to Vince.
That's
driving in on Luol Deng off the back of the rim.
That's okay. That's a good move, but that's the move I want. You know, and he missed the shot there, but that is the move that I want from Vince Carter.
Eddie, his headband was almost over his eyes. That's why he was calling for a foul. Derrick Rose drives on Nash, puts up the shot, contact, blocking foul on Grant Hill. Count the hoop for Derrick Rose. Grant Hill, #1 in the NBA in charges drawn.
I'm looking at Grant Hill's feet. Wow, seems like he's outside the line from here. He's outside the line.
He just moved that left foot at the last split second.
He's outside the line, no doubt about it.
A critical shot by Derrick Rose. Chance at a 3-point play. Consummates the deal, and the Bulls' lead is back up to 5. Another one of those bang plays. It looked like Grant Hill was set outside of the restricted area. Nash swings it over to Grant. Gives it up. Channing Frye has been sent. Good shot there, and down it goes. One more time for Channing Frye.
Tom Thibodeau, he over there slinging. He's beating up the The padding on the scoring table, he's a big guy. I didn't know he was that big. He might hurt somebody.
Channing Frye, the Suns' fourth quarter gunslinger, cuts the lead to 2. Frye has 13 points. The Bulls want a timeout. Nothing materializing on that offensive set. Thibodeau wants a full timeout. With 1:24 to go, Channing Frye steps up, hits a 3. It's a 2-point game here in Chi-Town. Only one timeout remaining. Suns do not have a foul to give. Boozer tripped up in the lane. Picked up by Noah. Back to Boozer. Bounces around and retrieved by Grant Hill. Suns get the stop.
Well, the ball didn't wind up in Derrick Rose's hands, and that's why the Bulls really were out of sync on that possession.
Bulls with 3 team fouls, so they do have 1 to give. Minute to go here in the 4th. Suns go back to Vince Carter. 21 points on the night. 1-on-1. Trying to back down on Luol Deng. Off bounds. Fading missed everything.
And again, Vince Carter looked back at this game, regardless win or loss, and against Luol Deng, you don't want to bang with him. He's just as big as you are. You want to face him up. Face him and try to force him to move his feet. And that makes a very difficult attempt.
Just like to see some more ball movement. They've gone to that isolation play
I don't mind
a number of times.
I don't mind it, but be efficient with it. You have to be efficient with it. Face him up.
40 seconds to go. 94-92. Taking his time, Derrick Rose.
He's going to try to get to the rim.
He has Grant Hill on him. Grant, hand in the face. Rising up. Sticking the shot. Derrick Rose. Timeout. Phoenix. He has struggled mightily offensively for most of the night. But he came away with a 3-point play and a critical J here late in the 4th.
An off-balance J at that. That's good defense by Grant Hill. He's right there. But when you're playing like he is, it doesn't matter.
As the MVP this season, 4th quarter heroics numerous times this year, and we see it tonight against the Suns.
Yeah, and that's what you do. When you're going to be a top-flight player, you have to close the game despite having a poor game. And he finds a way to knock down big buckets. Plenty of time here, 33 seconds. You really don't need a 3.
Bulls not out of the woods yet. Suns go back to Vince Carter. Powers in on Luol Deng. Tough shot by Vince.
Well, that's what he should have been doing all along. Luol Deng can't guard him when he faces him up. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's letting him really get to his weakness when he wants to back him down.
After a couple of disappointing misses on some questionable shots, Vince Carter now has 23 points, 13 here in the 4th quarter.
Here it is again. Turn, face him up, and take him off the dribble. It's tough to move your feet laterally. Very slow, gets the angle, easy to.
And again, it's not that isolation play, Eddie, which is so predictable. At least there was some movement, some screens being set. That allowed Vince free to roam the paint.
Well, you're right. It's not the isolation, but again, on the isolation 2 plays before that, it worked when he faced him up. He just missed an easy running hook. Bulls are so good on help defense that can get you in trouble because you're allowing them to size you up. But now it's all about defense. It's all about getting a stop here. Maybe try to get a steal in the first 6 seconds. If not, you got the foul. It's only a 2-second, really a 2.5 second difference here on the shot clock. So you got the foul if you do not get a steal within the first 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, try to foul quickly, too, to try to extend this game. Neither team has a timeout remaining. Bulls still have that 1 foul to give. Suns will be in the penalty with their next infraction. C.J. Watson inbounded for the Bulls. They try to get it to Kyle Korver and do. Grant Hill waiting. Korver, an excellent free throw shooter. Well, that could have been a foul right there. Time running down. Gets it over to Derrick Rose.
Got a foul.
And so the foul on Vince Carter.
And the Suns didn't switch. A lot of reason why teams have trouble getting the ball out of bounds is because teams will switch on it. Suns didn't switch the out of bounds play, and I thought that got them in trouble in terms of allowing Colbert to run free, and now a tremendous free throw shooter at the line.
89% from the stripe for Kyle Korver. and misses the first toss.
Good defense, Broham. That's what I'll call you.
The big jinx. That's why I always like extending the game. The fouls, committing the fouls early. I know there were 2 seconds separating the clocks, but still 13 seconds to go. Korver, 1 of 2, barely. Rattles the second one in. 3-point game. Suns need a 3 to tie. Nash covered by Joakim Noah. Down to 6, down to 5, into the paint. Try to scoop it over to Gortat. Lost the shot, tipping Vince Carter. And the Bulls will win it 97-94. You wonder if the Suns knew they needed a 3.
Well, Steve Nash made a mistake, no doubt about it. I mean, once the clock was running down, you know, he just got a little brain lock there and tried to go for the quick 2, but the clock was pretty down by then. So that's a tough break for the Suns. Don't get the 3-point opportunity.
But a terrific comeback after trailing by 22 points. They outscored the Bulls 24-16 in that fourth quarter. Suns led by Vince Carter's 23 points. For the Bulls, they had 6 different players scoring in double figures. 19 for Derrick Rose, 18 for Luol Deng, who is our guest here courtside at the United Center. And the Bulls improved to 57-20 on the year. Luol Deng got a little crazy there in the fourth quarter. You guys led by 22 points. How did the Suns fight their way back into this game?
We started playing that game. I mean, you know, we know the Suns can score, and our game, we always focus on our defense. Once we went up 20, we started thinking offensively. Instead of trying to shut them down and build a lead, we try to score and build a lead, and we just went back to their strength, and you know, we can't play that game with them.
You're right. One of the biggest facets of you all's game, regardless whether you're shooting the ball well or not, is to get to the glass, get the second and third opportunities, get steals. That didn't come in the second half as well, and I think that allowed the Suns to maybe make a run as well.
Nah, definitely. I mean, we got to start noticing when team are switching up. They were going zone into man into all that stuff, and we were trying to switch our play instead of staying with the same play. You know, we didn't play well, especially being up 20. But at the same time, it's a good learning experience going to the playoffs. I mean, we never want to be there, but these last-minute kind of games, teams stepping it up, this is good for us. We got a lot of guys who haven't been in that situation, and going into the playoffs, we just got to take the positive out of it.
Take us inside your matchup with Vince Carter, especially late in the fourth quarter. The Suns isolating Vince one-on-one. Very physical between the two of you late in this game.
Yeah, I know. I knew they're going to go to Vince. It's just no matter what kind of game he's having, he's one of those guys who could just score in different ways. And guarding Vince, I just knew I just got to make it tough. I really wanted him to settle for the jumpers, and I'm glad he did a couple times because he's hard to stop when he's going to the basket.
A tremendous season for you all this year. And how does it feel to be in this position? I mean, in the past, you all fighting for maybe the 4th, 5th, 6th seed. Now you have an opportunity to really get the best record in the NBA. What's it like among your team right now? Because we see it out here with your energy and hustle.
You know, you guys know when things are going well, it just makes everything so easy. I mean, you get up in the morning with a smile on your face. You can't wait to get to practice, and that's really what winning is all about. Since training camp, we put in a lot of work, but, you know, seeing the result and trusting in Coach Tibbs from the start now, we just can't wait to get up and go to practice, you know, because we really believe in the stuff that we're doing.
All right, Luol, thanks so much. A couple critical buckets down the stretch, too, from your MVP candidate, Derrick Rose. And tonight's post-game interview has been brought to you by Oliver Smith Jeweler, located in the shops at Gainey Village in Scottsdale. Oliver Smith Jeweler, the official jeweler of the Phoenix Suns, who come up 3 points short of Luol Deng and the Chicago Bulls. Back with our player of the game right after this.